welcome back to another video. We have the May ScrawlrBox. Now I am still in a temporary accommodation, so this is being filmed. You are very precariously perched on my lap with a small travel ring light, and I'm filming this on the bed, so we're on some nice soft furnishings. And this actually got misdelivered to my old address. I have a redirection on at the moment, and it still got delivered to the old address, which was very annoying. So I'm getting this quite late, compared to if it was delivered straight here. But I thought we would open it. It's going to be a quick one, because obviously I'm precariously filming, and there's a TV on in the background and all sorts. But anyway, we're going to get into it. If you do not know what ScrawlrBox is, it is a monthly art subscription box. You pay £16.95 for the box itself. Additional postage and packaging may apply outside of the UK. And you receive a box of art supplies every month, which can range from paints to pencils to markers, all sorts of things. Always very good, always very different month to month. You will receive a zine, which tells you a little bit about the supplies, a little bit about a featured artist that you will have for each box, a little bit of hints and tips on how to use the specific supplies in the box, and then some extra information about the theme. You will receive a piece of artwork from the featured artist and a little bit about that artist on the back of the artwork, a little suite, and a theme, a Scrawlr challenge, which is usually a word or a phrase where you can use the supplies in the box to create a piece of artwork. So let's get into this. I have subtly seen a few little spoilers, but I still, thankfully, don't know what the supplies are. So hopefully we will still be surprised. Let's get this out of the way. For every box you buy, a tree is planted, which is always very nice. So let's get that out of the way. This is the zine, which we'll flick through in a second. This is the featured artwork. Oh, very nice. I usually speculate what the what the supplies are. Well, I've just hinted what I think it is. I think it's some sort of paint, but I'm not sure on this, because we've recently received watercolors, have we not, in the last few boxes? So I don't know. I feel like it's too soon to receive watercolors again, but I may be wrong. Oh, better prop you back up. This is what I mean. This film. If you are new here, this is not how we usually film, so don't judge my channel on this. This is a little bit more about the featured artist. I think because I'm filming so close, you're actually getting probably a better quality. Anyway, so this artist is well, they spent their childhood in Southern California. I wouldn't say that tells us that they're from California. But they always loved drawing and creating characters, but never really considered it as a career path until life had already led me through college and the births of my 2 children. I'll let you read the rest of that, but I shall be having a look. I'm pretty sure I already follow this person, Ali Bean, and this artwork is beautiful. I like the soft blending that there is on there. Let's put that to one side. So the paper is watercolor paper, so we could have watercolors. No, I was wrong. Let's get in here and see what else there is. This looks interesting. Okay, let's move all of this out of the way. So I'm going to read off this for the supplies. So this is our sticker for this month. I think it's just a part of this artwork here, which is always nice. Nice subtle colours. We have our suite, which I'm not really sure, just a nice generic hard-boiled suite. Okay, so let's go from what we already can see. So we've got a ScrawlrBox exclusive Zine custom angled brush size B. Oh, how interesting. I don't think I have a brush this size. I can't talk today. It's been a long day. A brush this size. Very interesting. A German brush maker that stands for expertise in brush manufacture. Oh, cool. So that's nice. Is it synthetic? It doesn't say it is, but I would imagine it probably is synthetic. So that is the brush. We also have this Pentel Side FX mechanical pencil. God, this is a chunky boy, isn't it? Bloody heck. How do we get this? It's not a pump. Oh. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever had a mechanical pencil that does that. Oh, that's cool. That makes a change from the usual pump at the top here. Do we? Oh, now look at this. Focus, please. Look at this. To get the rubber out, you have to twist it. Well, this is very fancy. This is a lot different to a usual mechanical pencil. So it's a 0.5 Pentel. Oh, interesting. I'm excited to use this. This is cool. I always like something a bit different because usual mechanical pencils are just always the same, aren't they? So that's nice. We have a kneadable eraser by Brunziel. I think that's how you say that. I love a kneadable eraser. I think I discovered these probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I've never looked back. For my inkings, I love to sketch and then rub out the sketch, so I've not got any graphite excess on the paper with my kneadable eraser, so that's nice. Nice pink colour. I wonder if it's a sticky one. Sometimes they can be a bit sticky, sometimes they're a bit stiff. This feels like a nice soft one, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So lastly, we have the ScrawlrBox exclusive Peerless Watercolor palette. So I'm assuming this is similar to a Viviva colour sheet type palette. Now, the spoiler I did see is that these are quite messy, so I don't want to get them on this bedding because it's not mine. So let's bring this back in and let's have a look. So let's read some of this. Get creative with this custom palette of colours that was specifically selected by none other than our featured artist herself, the perfect travel companion, the watercolour on the go. The concentrated deposit of high-intensity pigment on each sheet ensure vibrant and intense colour for any painting project. They are very versatile and can be used by adding water directly to each sheet to activate the pigment. Yes, so very similar to the Viviva colour sheets, but instead of a booklet of them, we have these very large sheets. Wow, these are cool. They're almost like, I feel like we've kind of gone in an archive of finding really old, like Winsor and Newton paints from 100 years ago or something. They're really cool. Really, really cool. So I'm assuming we picked the pigment up from this side rather than this side. But yes, people weren't wrong. They are messy. See, the thing with a Viviva colour sheet is it's in a booklet, so you can just close the booklet, whereas the paint is out here, isn't it? This is fantastic, though. I love this. I love the look of this. I feel like I've gone into some old museum and I've taken out some very expensive, amazing paints. Wow, incredible. I love this. Okay, this is by far, without even testing these, feeling like it's my favourite box in a while. Look at that. I love it. Sorry, you're going to hear me say that quite a bit. This is probably the most excited I've been in one of these videos for a while. Okay, excellent. Right, we're going to put these back in here for now. You're probably going to see me do one of those swatching sheets where I do a massive grid and swatch them all, but I just feel like that's the perfect way to test all the colour combinations. But that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, I'm blown away by that. Let's put that away. Let's put this here. Right, so the paper itself, again, a ScrawlrBox exclusive set of 10 sheets, is West Hot Pressed Watercolour Paper Pad. Features a lovely smooth non-textured base that is ideal for artworks that require seamless blending. Okay, excellent. And then our Scrawlr challenge is flowing figures, hence this beautiful painting here. And I feel, okay, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you know that portraiture is not really my thing. I tend to do animals and creatures a little bit better, but we are going to have a go. I mean, flowing figures, you could relate that to an animal, I guess, but let's not go with the obvious. Let's do something a bit out there. I'll probably find some sort of reference photos on Pexels or Pixabay or something like that, and maybe we do something a bit different. But I'm excited about these supplies. Okay, let's have a look in the Scrawlr Zine next. So I'm sorry if this is a bit out of frame. Like I say, it's not the best close-up shot here. So let's have a look at what this sweet is. So it is a fruit drop, a classic sweet treat, delicious fruit flavoured boil sweet. So that's nice. I'm excited to try that. The unique colour palette, a combination of specific, why do I keep saying specifically? Specially curated colours picked by our favourite artists. I wonder what it says. Dry sheets, wet paint, ideal for using on the go. These perfectly pigmented paints are easy to use as you please. Okay, quick tip. These paints are pigmented on the other sides to which the names are printed. Okay, that's what we thought when we were looking through them. I think that's it on that page. So this is a little bit about the featured artist. I will be reading this off camera because there's quite a lot to read, but it's always very interesting to know other artists' processes and things like that. Scrawlr tips. I will read these as we do the swatching, as I always do. Sometimes these are actually very helpful. I used to think they were a bit condescending, but actually the more I read them every month, the more I realise that you forget the basics sometimes, and as much as you might read it and be like, well, obviously that's something I'd obviously do when I use this supply, sometimes it's actually not, because you forget that you need to break it down and go back to basics with certain things. So I will read those as we swatch. This is the Scrawlr gallery, so this is featuring some artwork from other Scrawlr subscribers from 2 months prior to this box. So this was when we had the Bionic Beings, and we had the, I think it was Spectrum Noir markers. So this was quite a fun one. I did the bird robot, which was quite fun. Oh, this one, I've seen this before. This was a lovely one. I really like this toaster one. But they're all lovely. I love seeing all the different artworks. Some absolutely fantastic subscribers out there, and I think the community, especially over on Facebook, there is a ScrawlrBox community over there where people share their processes and share their artwork, and there's so many beautiful and amazing artworks and talented people out there. Highly recommend going to follow that page. And then the Scrawlr Extra is just talking about the personality of a portrait, which, like I said, always relates to the Scrawlr challenge. So I will again be reading that off camera. It's a bit interesting. And that's it. So what a fantastic box. I'm really, really pleased. I'm absolutely blown away. And I can't wait to test these out. I think they're going to be amazing. Oh, I just can't wait. As you can tell, I'm very excited to use these. So let's get into swatching, and I'll read those Scrawlr tips as we swatch and then create some artwork based on flowing figures. So the Scrawlr tips and things to try. Watercolour paints conveniently presented on paper sheets are a perfect travel companion, so the peerless watercolour sheets are great for getting creative wherever you may be. The first tip is to make sure you use the correct side. The names of colours are printed on the back of the sheets. The paint is layered on the other side. Secondly, be careful when handling these sheets. They are super pigmented and will easily get on your hands or anything else they touch. When you are working with watercolours, it is important to work with your light colours first and slowly build up depth and texture with your darker colours, as watercolours are semi-transparent, so lighter tones will not build well on darker tones. You can lift watercolour pigments directly off the paper by adding a little water to the area you would like to lift and then gently dabbing the area with tissue. Do not rub the tissue over the surface though, as you could risk damaging the paper and smudging the pigment over your work. Try to think in terms of foreground and background when painting. Work in layers, starting with things that are furthest away from you, and then build up fine detail in the layers closest. Keep your water to paint ratio in mind. Too much water can result in a dilution of pigment and can also cause pigment to spread and blend, which can make your colours muddy, though too little water can mean your pigments will not flow or lay down correctly, and can also cause visible streaky brush strokes. Watercolour paints are very versatile and can be layered, however, keep in mind that paint will reactivate with water. If you want your layered colours to blend and bleed into each other, you can apply layers on top of wet paint. However, if you are looking to add fine detail on top of a previous layer, then make sure your paint is completely dry before adding anything. It is also worth using slightly less water with these buildable layers so that you do not cause any accidental bleeding or blending. The watercolour pigments can be mixed to create a spectrum of different colours. You just need a little water to lift some pigment from the sheets and a palette to mix them. Be sure to swatch all the colours and blends before starting a project. So that's what we're doing here. We are just starting to swatch. If you've been watching me for a while, you see me do these little colour swatch grids quite often, and I do find them very, very handy. I used a few colours in this piece that I kind of looked at my swatch to see what colours I needed to blend, and sometimes it was the colours that you wouldn't suspect would blend to create that colour, and so sometimes it's really good to have this as a reference. I did find that these were very pigmented, like they mentioned, and they do get all over your hands, so yes, great for travelling because they are just sheets of watercolour, but I think I will add them into my own little booklet, similar to a Viviva watercolour sheet, because they do get everywhere and you don't want to be putting these in your travel kind of bag or whatever and getting paint everywhere, so that is just one thing to bear in mind with these. I did, however, find that the adding water to lift watercolour like you would from your paper didn't work as well with these as it usually would. I found that they were so pigmented that you added the water on top of them, and sometimes it was actually really difficult to lift the paint after they'd gone down on this paper. But overall the watercolours are absolutely amazing. My initial oohs and ahs when I was opening the box were very warranted, I feel. They're very nice and I'm really pleased to have these as a set. So if you're watching this and you don't have a subscription to ScrawlrBox, I do recommend going on and waiting until the price maybe comes down on this box if they've got any left, and buying one for yourself, because the retail price for these watercolour sheets is actually quite high, and this box is 1000% worth the money. Just for those watercolour sheets, never mind the added extras in there and the surprise etc of having the box. So with the Scrawlr challenge being flowing figures, I don't know why, but I just immediately drifted to a dancer. I know I could have gone down the route that I think a lot of people are going down, where it's just doing the face and allowing the watercolour to be the flowing element of the face, but I was really drawn to doing a dancer. I think I went on Pixabay and I typed in dancers, and this man had a lot of references photos on there and they were beautiful, and I was just immediately drawn to this one and I just kept coming back to it, and I knew that was the one that I needed to do. So I used that, and then I actually wanted to add some more flowing elements in there, so I researched kind of those ribbon dancers and got a few references for those and added that in there as well. But the watercolours were beautiful. That neutral tint, I've mentioned it very, very recently. I think I discovered neutral tint probably in the last year, and I've been a massive advocate of using it. It darkens your watercolours without muddying them like a black would, and I actually use that as the base colour for the jacket that the dancer's wearing, and I mix it in with this blue here to create that nice dark denim look as well, with a little bit of washed out areas. But the watercolours were beautiful, they flowed really nicely, they were very pigmented. I used a tile to mix them. It's just a little wall square tile that sometimes you can use as a coaster, and it works really well as a mixing palette for your watercolours. And overall I just think this piece turned out really nice. I'm really pleased with it. I think it's quite a statement little piece actually. I wouldn't mind framing this and putting it on the wall, and perhaps I'll make it into prints in the future if ever I do a bit more of a portraiture style store update or something like that. But overall really, really happy with this box, very much worth its money, and I will 100% be using these watercolour sheets in the future. Oh, just coming back to when I mentioned having your swatch card, this is what I mean. I mixed this green with this bright pink and it made the most beautiful purple, and I would never have suspected those two colours mixing together would make this purple until I'd done that swatch card. So that's just one of the reasons I do them. But I think that's all I have to really say about this box. Really pleased, and like I say, recommend buying it in their sale if they've still got any left, if you have not got a subscription to ScrawlrBox and you're watching this. But that's it from me, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you're feeling inspired if you have not yet started with your box, and I hope to see you soon. So please let me know in the comments below if you've enjoyed, what your thoughts are on the box, and I hope to see you all in the next one.